Hey guys, welcome back. It's Saturday night at like 9 o'clock at night. I was running behind schedule. I wanted to paint this Stargate cabinet that's going to be the Tetris, but I did not get a chance to get to it today. I have 320 grit sanded down the doors. I still have to put a rabbet in the backside and drill for the hinge bolts. So I'm going to do that tomorrow, and I'm going to have this all sanded down and ready to paint, because tomorrow I have to paint the interior parts of a couple of car doors satin black as well, so I'm going to paint these when I paint those. So I will be back tomorrow to get this thing painted satin black, and then at that point it's ready for artwork and assembly. I don't have artwork yet, still waiting on it, but I can probably start putting it together and getting it ready. So I will be back in the morning and we will get this thing painted satin black. Okay, this cabinet is all sanded down. I have not blown it off yet. I need to get these back doors made, or mounted rather. I temporarily mounted the hinge in the place that it was originally, so we can get the back door bolted to it. And these hinges do have adjustment, so if I don't like the way they fit, I can always adjust them a little bit. And I'm actually going to take maybe a piece of cardboard or something and put it on the bottom here, just to give it a little bit of clearance so that the door will shut and not hit on the wood itself. So I'm grabbing some cardboard. I'm just going to space it up with this little 16th or so cardboard. All right. And then I need to drill holes for the bolts, which I have to see what size they are. I think they are 3/16, but I'm not positive. Nope, they're definitely bigger than that. Might even be 1/4 inch. Yep, 1/4 inch. Okay, I'm gonna grab a marker. We'll mark these and then I'll drill them. And then that can kind of sit there, and then we got to put the top panel on, which is, we got to make a notch in the, or a router rabbet in the back of it, because it's too tall. So what we need to do is we need to rabbet both doors, the back on this one and the front on that one, so the two will close and be flush. So let me go grab a marker for the bottom. We're just going to try to carefully mark in the center of each square. Okay. This is plywood. Okay, that should stay. I'm gonna grab a bolt and slide it through. Okay, that'll kind of hold it where it needs to go. Now I need to rabbet out the bottom of the top door, which I gotta go get my router and get that all set up. Okay, I have this rabbeting bit in my router, and I have it set for about half the thickness of the piece of plywood. So I'm just gonna do this on the floor. I know that I need to router the front face on this one here. I'm actually gonna need something to set that on. Okay, I'm gonna have to router the front face of this. taking too much material off at one time. Okay, so that's one right there. And now I need to do the other side so that the two will overlap each other. And I might have to cut the height of this door down. Looks like I might have to cut the height of the door down a little bit. But that's okay. That's really not a big deal. Let's take this one off. Tight. Okay, I need to do the back side of this one. I'm actually going to adjust it just a hair. All right. Okay, looks like I gotta take about a good 1/8 inch off. All right, I'm just gonna run outside real quick and do that on the table saw. And then I'll come back in, and then we just need to drill a hole for the lock, and the back doors are done. Okay, let's drill a hole for the lock. It's a 3/4 inch hole. I wanna put it in the center. Come down 7/8 of an inch. And I'm using a step bit because it cuts a little smoother. Okay. Beautiful. Okay. This will obviously fit better once it gets bolted on, but there it is. So I am going to go ahead and take the hinge off, get this all blown off, and get it in the spray booth so we can get this thing painted. Okay guys, I am getting some MP170 mixed up here, epoxy primer. There's the hardener. I need to put a little reducer in it. Now I have all the parts in here. I still need to wipe them down. I'm painting the cabinet satin black today. The back doors, those metal plates, and the back side of the doors for the 49 Ford pickup. Now, this MP170 has a 72 hours before you have to scuff before you top coat. So it is about 2:30 on Sunday afternoon. I'm going to just go ahead and MP170 the whole entire door for the 49 because tomorrow I'm going to paint it within 24 hours, so I know that I'm really within that window of time. It says up to 72 hours before you have to scuff and reapply. So I'm just going to go ahead and MP the whole thing, the whole door. And then I was going to tape it off to put the black on, but I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to go ahead and put the black on, and then I'll tape it off tomorrow. If I got to scuff anything down or anything that feels funny, I can do that tomorrow before I put the gunmetal gray on. The reason why I don't want to tape it twice is because then I have to try to tape against the tape line that I already had taped. So at least this way it's only going to have one tape line rather than two that I'm trying to meet together. So I'm going to get some of this mixed up. It is a 2-to-1 mix, 2 parts epoxy, 1 part hardener, and then I'm going to add 20% reducer to thin it out so that it goes on smoother and flatter. So I'm going to get this mixed up. I'm going to wipe everything down. I'm not going to show me wiping everything down today, but I'm going to get everything wiped down and get it ready for the coat of epoxy, and then we'll mix up the black single stage satin that we are going to use, and then we will put a couple coats of that on, and that'll be it for today on these parts. So this is the single stage we're going to use. This is hot rod. It says flat single stage, that's what all the labels say, but this is actually a satin finish on this one. So I'm going to let it start stirring now and get stuff mixed up. Okay, I have the MP170 mixed up and in the gun. I'm only going to be putting this on the car door parts, the doors themselves and those 2 metal plates. I'm not going to waste it on the arcade cabinet or the back doors because there's only like a couple little breakthroughs and it's not bare metal, so it doesn't matter. The doors have some bare metal on it. This is going to seal the bare metal up before we put the paint over top of it. You always want to try to seal your bare metal up with an epoxy primer before you paint, because if you don't, you run the risk of it, rusting in the future. This kind of creates a barrier to seal the metal in before the paint touches the door itself. So let's go out there, put a coat of this on the doors and those couple panels. Okay, I'm gonna get the paint mixed up now. Like I said, it's just a 4-to-1 mix. We're gonna add 20% reducer in it to thin it out a little bit. Now I'm gonna start with the arcade cabinet and work my way to the front of the spray booth. So basically I'm starting in the farthest back, working my way forward. The reason why I do that is whatever overspray comes off that cabinet and lands on the other parts, I will be wetting it as it's going towards the fan. So it keeps everything wet as I get towards the fan. We're going to put probably 2 coats on everything. Should be all we need. So I'm going to get this mixed up. We're going to get out there. I just tack clothed off the cabinet and all the parts. The tubes in the arcade cabinet, I was able to pop them out. They came right out. I'll glue them back in afterwards. I got to clean them. first coat. Just made it on the paint I mixed up. If anybody's wondering what gun I'm using, this is a knockoff of a Segola paint gun. A Segola paint gun, this type would be about $800. This is a $100 gun, and it breaks up and atomizes the paint just as good as those Segolas. I've used them. I have just about the same results with this as an $800 spray gun. This is made by AeroPro. You can get them on Amazon. Part number is A610. I have a couple of them. I really like them. They're lightweight, they feel really good, and they really break up the paint. They really atomize the paint and lay it on pretty darn smooth. So for the price, I really can't beat it. And I use them. You know, I have a bunch of guns. I have a bunch of guns that are old. I have some cheap guns, I have some expensive guns. These are my 3 SATA guns here. This is a SATA, this is a SATA, and this is a SATA. You know, those are anywhere from $600 to $800 a gun. And they're getting old, they're getting worn out. And to be honest with you, this newer technology with the lower pressure, this I'm shooting between 29 and 32 PSI. That's all I need. Barely getting overspray because the pressure is really low and it's laying it out flat. It's breaking the paint up. I've noticed with these older SATA guns, because they're 2000 and 3000 SATAs, that I have to use a higher air pressure to get it to break up and atomize as good as these new guns. This is just a cheap Black Widow from Harbor Freight. Works okay. For $160 at Harbor Freight, your better bet is that one from Amazon for $100. This is another Amazon or Harbor Freight gun, and these are Harbor Freight guns that I use for primer. And that's really about it. I have extra cheap guns up there. Those 3 boxes right there are these cheap guns with the 2.0 tip on them for filler primer, 2K primer. And I even have some cheap gravity feed guns up there from Harbor Freight that I got for 10 bucks a piece, that I'll use those a lot of times for like spray glue. You're doing a headliner and you need to put spray glue down, fill that up with some spray glue, and it works really well. Now this is that gun I was just talking about, the one I'm using right now. It's made by AeroPro. There's a label on this. They stuck a shipping label right on the box. Of course, they yeah, can't really see it, but it's A610, and it works really, really well, guys. So if somebody's in the market for a cheaper spray gun and wants it to perform like an expensive spray gun, go with one of those. I'm actually probably going to buy a 3rd one, just so I have it for future, because that one up there in that box I'm going to turn into a clear coat gun. I like them so much that I'm just going to keep using them. The hell with it. Why should I spend $800 on a gun when this $100 gun, I don't even think it's $100, I think it's $80 or $90, whatever it is on Amazon, is performing just as good as an $800 gun, so why waste the money? I'd rather buy a couple extra ones of these. I'd rather have 4 of these, use 2 of them, and then when they start taking a crap, throw them away and use 2 new ones. I'll still only be half the price of one gun. So just in case anybody's interested. So I am going to mix up the same amount again, and we're going to put one more coat on everything, and then that'll be it. Then we'll let these parts dry. So all right, I'm going to get this mixed up, and we're going to go get the last coat on. Real quick, if you look at this air cap here, you can see that there was a piece of lint or something. It's right there. Can't really see it, but there's also a couple dots of dirt. So this filter that goes through this air cap, you could tell it definitely picks up anything that's in the paint before it goes into the spray gun. So it gives you a cleaner paint job. Okay, it's been drying for about 15 minutes so far. It's starting to dry out. Obviously it's still a little shiny because it's not completely dry. I didn't go super heavy on the side of the cabinets. It's getting vinyl put on it. So, but that's where we're at. Arcade cabinet's done, and the insides of the doors and the back doors of the arcade cabinet are done. So that's going to end this video, guys. Hopefully you like what you're seeing. Please like, subscribe, share, hit the thumbs up. I'd really appreciate it. Tomorrow afternoon I am going to do the gray on the doors and the running boards on the truck. I have to sand those down still, so I want to paint those tomorrow, and then I have to do the hood fender assembly, that one-piece fiberglass. Once that's done, I just have a bed, rear wheel flares or wheel wells, and a tailgate left, and then that'll be the end of that project. So hopefully you guys stick around, and I will see you guys later. Thanks.